Home inspection. All right, everybody, away we go. Oops, I better unhold you all. You're not going to hear me. All right, everybody, away we go. Sorry about that little technical snafu to begin this call here. It is Friday, April 27th of 2018, and this is the TRC sales training call. And we're going to get right after it with Sarah Corey and her team extraordinaire up in Ottawa. And she has been kind enough to send me a couple of recordings that I will open up and get right after here. And the goal here today is to try to help her team figure out, in the conversation that's going on with these leads, why are there so many people still canceling appointments? And, I have my certain thoughts about that as to why that happens to any of us. But I think rather than talk about theory, I wanted to go right at this. So I'm going to open up the microphones. Remember, *6 mutes your mic, and I'll be bringing all of my Ottawa friends on. Okay. Check. Are we good? Guys all here? Sarah, you there?
Yep, we're all here.
All right, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to listen to this and refresh me. The first call was Pat's, right? You sent me Pat's call? Okay, Sarah, you there? Sarah, I want you to double check. I want to make sure my Ottawa team is ready to go.
I'm not sure if Sarah's here, but I'm
Okay.
here, and Pat, we've got Dave, and we've got Juan, so these are the ISAs.
Okay, all right. Got a little bit of an echo, too. If you guys have multiple phones or stuff going there, use one of the speakers there, and then we'll get right after this, okay? So Sarah just came on, by the way. Hang on 1 second.
Okay, how about now? Is it better?
Yeah, let me just check a few mics here. Got a couple folks in Washington. I think you guys, I think my Cantu team is all in the same room. So let me just stop that. All right. So here we go. Let me go play this recording here. Sarah, you there with me? Check.
I'm here.
All right, good.
Okay. I'm here too.
All right, hang on. Here we go. Let's see. All right, Laura, I got some technical difficulties waiting to happen here. Hang on 1 second. Bear with me, everybody. I just got to change out a battery source here on my phone. Whoa, somebody's got some hot music there. That's exciting, huh? So I feel like I'm in a Greek island or something there, right? All right, that takes care of that one. All right, so let me go a bit here. Sarah's having a little trouble just opening it, so I got to download it here. Let me just see if we can open this up. All right, so here we go. I think. Here we go. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, having trouble opening your WAV file there. So, is there any other place? Let me just try it again. Let me find it here. Okay, let's try this way. Come on, Pat's WAV file. Here we go. All right, listen in.
Hello? Hi, Mike. Hello, Mike? Yeah. Hey, Mike, it's Pat calling from Remax. How are you? Not too bad, how are you? Good. So last year you were in contact with my associate Andrew about your property at 1679 St. Barbara. It was in regards to a free home evaluation. We had set up an appointment, but you weren't quite ready to sell. The reason for my call is that right now there's a big shortage of inventory on the market, and houses are selling at record prices. So I just wanted to see, were you looking to maybe sell this year, Mike?
Well, the price is right, yeah, I probably would sell, yes.
So if the price is right, you'd probably sell?
Yep.
Well, Mike, I'm telling you right now, properties are selling for above asking price a lot of the times, and they're selling pretty quick. Would you be interested in finding out exactly how much you could sell for in today's market?
Sure.
Okay, and are you typically more available during the day or during the evening?
I'd rather really, late afternoons or early evening.
Late afternoon, early evening? Okay, how about I got an opening here Monday at 4. Could you do that?
Monday at 4. Yeah, that should be good, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So Monday the 16th, April 16th at 4 p.m. Okay, now I just need to get some information on your property so that we can do our homework beforehand. Okay, Mike?
Okay.
This will take about 2-3 minutes.
Because I'm driving, that's why. You know, it's going to take long.
It'll take about 2-3 minutes, that's all.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, so what type of home is it, Mike?
It's a single home.
Single family? Two-story? Two-story?
Yeah. Yeah.
Two-story. Is there a garage?
Double.
Double garage. What year was it built?
What year is what, sorry?
What year was it built?
I think in 1985 or 87.
Okay. Perfect. And how many bedrooms?
We have two bedrooms and a big master bedroom.
Okay, so 3 total?
Yes.
Okay, and how many bathrooms?
We have two full ones on the second floor of the bedroom, and what do you call that? The other washroom that doesn't have really a tub, but
Powder room?
No, not powder room.
A half bathroom?
Yeah, half bathroom. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And is the basement finished?
It's finished except the ceiling.
Okay, mostly. And what type of flooring do you have throughout?
It's all hardwood.
Hardwood and tile, I'm guessing?
Yeah, there is tile, but not on the floors. I do have countertop, granite.
Yeah.
Okay, but the floors, they're all like vinyl flooring. But if you want ceramics or marble or whatever, because I am, this year I'm going to be changing and renovating, you know.
Okay, well, at the same time, you don't want to be putting money into the property if it's not going to bring back your investments. So we can definitely go over that on Monday as well, sort of make sure that you maximize your profits. When was the last time the roof was done?
About 8 years ago.
Okay, 2010. And windows?
About maybe around that time, about maybe 10 or 12.
Okay, and furnace?
I just changed it about 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago, perfect. Okay, and what would be the reason for your move? Were you looking to upsize, downsize?
Not downsizing.
You're downsizing?
Yeah.
Okay, downsize. And in your mind, what do you think the house is worth, or what were you hoping to achieve?
Well, really, I'm not really 100% sure, but I'd say probably 750 plus, maybe. I don't know.
350 plus?
No, 750.
750. Okay.
Yeah.
750. And you're going to need to buy as well?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And
in fact, I was thinking of buying a lot and building a home.
Okay. So
like a bungalow type thing. If you have something in, you know, in the Hampstead area, Albion Road, you know.
Okay, Albion?
Yeah. That closer to Mitch Owens, Region Road 8 and all that area. I was looking at that property there.
Okay, and is there anybody else on title, Mike?
My wife.
Your wife, and she'll be there as well on Monday?
Yes, she will. Yes.
Awesome. Okay, and I just want to confirm your email address is c.mike1911@gmail.com. Just to call Monday morning to make sure we're still good to go. Other than that, we'll see you Monday afternoon. Good.
Ask Julie.
Awesome.
Ask Julie Marcello's number. Trying to get into Patty Borg's house. All right. Very interesting. And now this guy, tell me the conclusion. He doesn't show. I was asking Laura's off camera with me right here. For those of you watching, if you see me pointing to her, I was looking for her feedback here as a fellow inside sales agent. And our gut reaction, my gut reaction was, wow, that was a lot to put on that guy in that kind of a phone call while he was in the car. Laura, what'd you think?
Yeah, I'm not really understanding the purpose of asking so much information about the house.
Yeah.
Because a lot of that can be found online. I think more important questions would be, what do you think it's worth? What's your motivation to sell?
Yeah.
Do you need to buy? Like that kind of stuff. That was great.
Yeah.
But what floorings, age of the roof.
Yeah, I didn't get all that either. Is that standard fare, Pat? Is that stuff that you guys always ask when you're booking an appointment? I mean, it just sounded like an enormous amount of information that you were requesting, and he was in the car. And I'll tell you what, before I know the conclusion, and I know it was problematic, I think this is a guy that canceled. At the end, I almost felt like he sounded tired of answering your questions. As I was listening to his tone, it was almost like he was fading away. And it was almost like it sounded like he wanted to get rid of you to me. Mm-hmm. I don't know, Laura, did you hear that?
Yeah, well, he already said, like, I'm driving, I'm in the car.
Yeah.
It's like, you gotta listen to those cues and say, okay, like, if this is gonna take 3 minutes and you don't have a lot of time, I'm gonna cut it down to 1. So ask the important ones. Yeah. Home value, motivation. Do you need to buy?
And as you're saying that, like I'm thinking to myself, why is he not asking more of that stuff? And why did he tell him it's 2 to 3 minutes? Like, why do we need to say that? Like, this is going to take 2 to 3 minutes. And it's like, it's almost as if he's admitting I'm about to be a pest for 2 or 3 minutes, So to me, it was changing the tenor of the conversation from, I thought it started great. He's very casual. Hey, it's me from Remax. And you talked to one of my associates a little bit ago. I'd love to hear what the opening is, Pat and Sarah, to something that isn't that way.
The only thing I would have tweaked on the opening was asking, hi, is this so-and-so, not Mike?
Yeah.
I think even the caller got confused.
Yeah. Well, that's a double edge, because I think sometimes when you're casual, they engage you. So as a technique, quote unquote, I think he can get them to engage as I listened to that by doing that. So I didn't really have as much of a challenge with that as I did. I was drowning in his questions. And then I think what's missing is the iteration of benefit. Yes, what a benefit this meeting is. Yeah, it almost felt like an attack. It felt like an assault to me, right? That in Pat's voice isn't like, this is all about me, Pat, but the actions are. Mm-hmm. The actions are, all that's important is I get what I want, and that we get this appointment, and we know what the product is. It's subtle because he doesn't sound like that, but it's the actions of going through it. Pat, does that make sense to you so far?
Yeah, I mean, I understand where you're coming from. It's just that's a technique that I've always used, and it's been successful for me. So
yeah, but it wasn't. Hold on. It's not successful.
Well, just to clear things up, this appointment was canceled, but it's been rescheduled for next week. So it's not lost. Yeah.
Okay, good. So that's good. But you don't want to go there. Don't steamroll me. There's problems with this call, Pat. I mean, you don't want to just dismiss this advice. What you want to do is get better. Yeah. You want to get better at this. And there are definitely some things there. And Sarah, you want to get better at this. And Hannah, you want to manage this better. And I think there's some subtleties here that are big hinges to this thing, right? The issue here is that there's not a two-way feeling to this conversation. There's just not. Yep. And I would go back and I would look at every one of my calls where they didn't show and you didn't go back and get them, right? Because this is about improving, and even when we get great at something and we're still trying to get better, people are still going to no-show. Because what they're forgetting is, why am I doing this at all? Is my motivation really even there? What the heck did that guy say? Even if you're perfect on Tuesday and the appointment's on Thursday and they forget because it atrophies over time, I think that's the issue. So, Sarah, Hannah, come in here with me for a second. I want to hear that you're there. Okay. I want your thoughts on this. What did you hear?
Hello? Hannah.
Come on, ladies.
So, Hannah, you go first. So, for me, number one thing is when somebody tells me they're in the car, I usually tell them I'm going to give them a call back, just because I know that people are not really paying attention, and it can kind of sway them to be like, what did I agree to? I don't even know what I agreed to.
Yeah.
I was driving and I'm concentrating. So do you understand what I mean?
I do.
So usually I always ask people, especially you can kind of tell when someone's driving. So I'll ask them, is this a good time to talk? Because it seems like you might be preoccupied sometimes. And then they'll just be like, yeah, I'm driving, or I'm in traffic, I'm in this. And then I usually just reschedule a call and then call them when I know they're actually sitting down and can listen.
Yeah. All right. Let me cheat back to Pat a little bit on this, and Sarah, that'll come to you for your opinion. I would say that I like that Pat engaged him to a certain extent, though. I wouldn't just, oh, you're in the car, is there a better time to get you? I wouldn't, if it were me, I wouldn't necessarily bail out that quickly on qualification of this appointment, because it's really hard to get these people on the phone, period. So if he quote unquote snuck up on him in the car, good for him. He got him at least. But you're right. There's somewhere in here, there's the Goldilocks bed, right? It feels just right. Sometimes we're too hard. Sometimes it's too soft. I think in this case, we're trying to look for more towards the middle. I like the way he engaged him. Now that is where I would leave Pat alone and say, Pat, if that's your style to be more casual in the opening, don't change that, because then all of a sudden it's no longer you. So like, hey, whatever you said, Pat, at the beginning of that call, I'd leave that alone. If you feel comfortable engaging a conversation by doing it the way you did, good, because that is successful. So bravo, that's your style. Where I just am looking for more strategic approach is, let's go into the next thing. Some time ago, you were in our system, whatever the context is, Pat, you brought that in perfectly too. So you got him talking, you brought the context in, and that was really good. You got him to that point of conversing with you. I think that at that point, Hannah, maybe at that point, it's like, look, let me just reiterate, when we were talking to you, you had a reason for moving. See, what I would have done is had a different order to things here, because that's where we want to make sure there's true motivation and timing. And if people are blowing off these appointments, they're not coming to these appointments, it's because perhaps their timing and motivation is not right now to meet with you. And I don't want to lose that opportunity to get you guys or anybody that's listening to this a good prospect into your follow-up system. It's hard enough for Pat to get somebody on the phone, but then to be pressing, which is this whole balancing act of pressing for appointments versus getting a good quality conversation. So I think he did find that this guy was definitely motivated to do something. But I think I would have spent more time there, Pat, going a little bit deeper. So, I know you talked to us a while ago. What was the reason for moving then? Is it the same now? Yes, I'm downsizing. Oh, great. So do you have to go buy a property at the same time? And which one's more important? You want to buy first, sell first? That conversation about why he's doing it and digging in a little bit deeper to those logistics, I think no matter what, that is 100% the right time to dig in deeper. Because if he bails on you in the conversation because he is on the telephone in the car and he can't concentrate, at least you requalified him as a prospect. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, get the most important questions out in the beginning, because then if they do cut you off and say, I gotta go, this is a bad time, at least you have that knowledge walking away from the call.
And if you get him at a good time, okay, no problem, I'll try you back at a better time. Yeah. Now when you call him back, it's like, look, I got you at a bad time last time you were in the car, but you did tell me that you were downsizing, and I wanted to circle back and get into some of the logistics. Mm-hmm. Is now, and Hannah, that's when I think it would be a better time, is now a good time to have a little bit more of a deep conversation about that so we can help you, right? So that's the safety net to make sure he's prospected this person. Or in this case, it sounds like reprospected. Pat, you with me? Hannah, you with me?
I'm with you, Danny.
Yeah, man. Yeah, because Pat, you're really good at getting people to talk to you. You know what I mean? There's no issue there. Your style per se, and I didn't mean to harshly react to what you said. I want to separate out your style, which nobody wants to change because then we're changing somebody and what they do. I want you to think, while you have that style overlay, more strategically. Am I setting myself up for the best outcome? And again, Pat, I know we're gear shifting up there with your team into more quality conversations versus just an appointment for the sake of an appointment. So I do understand that that's a tough gear shift for you. And I'm empathetic to how tough that is. And I love that you're scrappy and you came right back at me and said, well, all's not lost. I got the guy back. I want to hear about that in a second. But what I want to do is really talk about, because it came up on the campfire call yesterday too. Sales agents have to understand that it's better to be strategically thinking about what you're doing in that moment and then adding the human part to it, which is quote unquote style and interaction. That was being lost here because you were just plowing forward, which is, typical of us dudes, right? Or anybody who's aggressive. We see that outcome. We know he's there. We're qualifying the appointment. We want to get it, pass it off to OSA and on to the next one. So I think strategically speaking, it was just a little bit, for me anyway, in my opinion, in Laura's opinion, it was a little bit out of order. Meaning you did get into that deeper dive. Why is he moving later on? But I think you had already tired him out a little bit with the other questions. And he wasn't there for you with energy to give you a deeper dive. Sarah, jump in with me here. Your thoughts on this one.
I found there wasn't a huge value proposition or strategic plan as to why they should meet with us over other agents. Like if they were talking to other teams about the free home evaluation, like what's getting us in the door versus other people.
Yeah. Can you guys give me, well, that's the benefit discussion, right? And he can't offer, in my opinion, the best features of what you'll do and why that benefits this guy until he's better qualified the situation, I think. Because once he qualified it later on, now there's a move, but now it's almost like he's late to that part of the conversation, has to backtrack. And that's what makes this feel out of order and noisy. He does everything right. It's just not in the order. See, this is, here's a guy that's really good at this. And he's simply, the only tweak I have is he's out of order in strategy. That's it. It's really that simple to help Pat do better, Hannah, and understand it better, right? Because I think that it's more so about, and typical lady who's respectful, you wanted to say, hey, can I get you back at a better time? So here's my thought. That's too soft, and he was too hard, right? Somewhere in the middle is, I got him. This is hard enough to get him to answer. Why were you doing this again? Because you were asking for a home eval, so it looked like there was a reason why. Why did you need it? Was it for now? Was it for later? Yep, no, I'm moving. Oh, really? So what's the reason for the move? Right? Well, I'm downsizing. Oh, great. When would you like to accomplish this by? Is there a sense of urgency or not? See, that's all that human conversational tone on top of the, why is this guy doing this? Because what you're doing is you're actually being helpful, but you're also being selfish in the same breath, right? So that the helpfulness is to really listen and be there for them. But it's also selfish because you're moving it into, strategically, is this a quality appointment right now, this week, Monday? Why are we even going there Monday? Like, I still didn't hear where he wants to go, when he wants to get there from the guy. You with me, Laura?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Danny.
Yeah, go, man.
He said that he wants to buy a lot near Hunt Club and he wants to build on it. He wants a smaller bungalows in the phone call.
Okay, all right, cool.
Danny?
Yeah?
The guy has a little bit of an accent, so it might have not been clear when he was speaking.
Yeah, good.
Typically in a normal phone call, I do isolate timing and motivation before I get into home details.
Yeah.
I think it just what happened is I got the appointment so easily that I sort of got ahead of myself and I went right into home details before isolating timing and motivation.
Hey, dude, good for you.
The point.
Hang on one sec. Hang on. Tarek, hang on. Tarek.
Defend what we're doing.
Tarek, hang on.
No, I know.
Tarek, hang on. Tarek, hang on.
Defend our.
Yeah, hang on. All right, everybody, hang on. Hang on. Stop. Hold on. Stop. Everybody stop. Okay? Everybody stop for a minute because I want to make a good point. Good for you just now for being a good self-critic. That is very hard to do. So before we go down this path, I think you were defensive in the beginning, but you just caught yourself. And you became a good self-critic. And if there's one takeaway here that I want us all, and I do this myself, Laura will tell you, I critique myself every single and you did the right thing. What you said to yourself was, this guy, right, was so easy to say yes to the appointment that it's almost like you let up. And we do that. Like everybody does that. And here's the context within which we do it. The minute you get referred somebody who's a friend of a friend, you let your guard down and your strategic brain goes to mush. Oh, whew, no work in this one. It's my buddy's buddy. So this is all teed up. Easy money, the brain is saying, right? Not right. In fact, it's so important to buoy yourself and anchor yourself in this place where we are always strategic. And you should almost, Pat, become paranoid when you stray from the strategy, because you're making yourself vulnerable to become the problem again. As to Laura's bouncing up and down and giving me an amen, right? We all do that. You become the problem again every time you cheat strategy, or at least you make yourself vulnerable to becoming that. Let me give you another example of where this happens to us. Is that we have a strategy for onboarding listings. And we realize that nobody knows the listing better than the seller. So we had agreed at one point in time to make sure we send the listing sheets to the seller, have them proofread them, have them proofread the write-up, and add their feedback, and then basically check off on it, right? The minute we stopped following that, of course, a little tiny detail, which was a big one, got in the way, and we're now the problem, right? That's what happens. We became the problem. So I wanted to make that very clear that that's the whole concept here. All right, let me open this back up. And sorry, everybody, I had to mute the mics because I just thought that was a really poignant moment where he caught himself from being defensive to going into a good self-critic and really being spot on with what the critique was, bud. You got it. You went too fast because, like all of us, it was an easy time. Don't do that or you'll end up in a struggle. And now you got to go back and rebook it. By the way, give me the happy second beat here. How did you go back and rebook it? What did you do?
Danny, so just gave him a call back. So what happened was it was the Monday of the ice storm. They had a doctor's appointment they had to reschedule. We did reschedule to the Wednesday, and then he did say that he was a little bit overwhelmed with his wife's doctor's appointments. Yeah. And now it's going to be next week on Wednesday.
Good. So good. I mean, and again, that's why I'm saying in this moment that I listened to, there's so many good things. And it's always this way with people that are already good at this, which you all are, by the way, if you're listening in on this, is the order of things is I don't even know how to overemphasize that. It is so important to getting better. It is the order within which we do it. Nobody's trying to sit here, especially me, even though I've done it for a long time. I would never point at somebody and I might do it emotionally incorrectly and say, you're wrong. Right? Sometimes when I'm fighting a paradigm, I might say that. But nobody's wrong because the variables are so many that you don't know who's on the other line and exactly what they're going to be saying to you. So that makes this really uncontrollable to a large extent, right? So you can't speak in absolutes. There's always that flex built in. But strategically thinking, you will have to ask yourself, where am I in this conversation? And am I lost? Am I really sticking to my proven strategy that I'm following every day I come to work or not? Right?
And are you making it about you or the person on the other end?
Yeah, which sounds harsh when we say it, but that's true, isn't it? Right?
For some reason, I just have that ringing in my ears all the time now.
Yeah. Say it again. Say it again so they all can hear it.
Making this about them and not you.
Yeah.
And giving yourself the position of adding value to their situation.
Right.
So in turn, yes, you are getting, something out of it, but it's such a more
fulfilling
way to do it.
Right,
it's just and I think you have overall better results and people, are fine to give you that extra 3 minutes on the phone because you're giving something to them in return.
Yeah, for sure. Pat, does that make sense to you? So what she's basically saying is that it is really actually hard for all of us to not be selfish, especially when you're tired, you're cranky, you don't have the energy, you know, what any of those things make you vulnerable to that moment where you definitely are making it about you, even if you sound like you're giving. It's not inside, right? It definitely not. And it's not a subtlety. Like, you'll hear it in any recording you have. And in that case, it was weirdly selfish to the extent that, oh, this is easy, let me just take this down. It starts to sound matter of fact, but I like it, Pat, because you also caught yourself later in the call. Oh, shoot. Yeah, hey, by the way, why are you moving again? I'm downsizing. Oh, you want to get a lot? You want to build? You caught yourself, Pat. So that's probably why you were able to circle back round and get this guy, because he's definitely motivated. So bravo, good work. Tarek, anything you want to add to that? I cut you off, brother. Sorry about that, but I caught him in that poignant moment that I wanted to highlight. So if you want to add anything, go ahead.
No, I wanted to just speak up and tell everybody that this is an opportunity to get better. We don't need to be defensive because there's a lot of things that we can tweak and make better.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was the best call, to be honest. I think we need to be, you know, I try to remind our guys that we have to have a very consultative cap on when we're talking to these clients, you know, to get the best out of them. So we need to analyze their needs, their timing, their motivation, and then start providing solutions. And we need, you know, we need to give them reasons to stick out in their minds and keep the appointments that they book with us, right? They need to have a reason to meet with us.
Yeah, and that's
right? And I find sometimes when we're just telling people, you know, telling's not selling. That's what they say. So we can't just be. It needs to be a reciprocal conversation, and not just us extracting information and we'll see on Tuesday. That's not enough for people to keep an appointment.
No doubt. And in a day, well said, actually perfectly articulated. You're getting the big head bob positive reaction from Laura. Again, we couldn't agree with you more. I liked what you said. I want to highlight this. Two-way. You know, it's if you don't feel like you're in a friendly tennis match, you know, it's just kind of volleying back and forth. You've lost that rhythm of give and take. Which, by the way, you know, just to help the other side out, to Laura's point, it'd almost be like instead of hitting back hard, you know, in a volley, be like lobbing it over the other side and letting them hit back harder at you, if anything. Skew it towards them feeling strong about the whole thing. Right? So brilliantly said from a true pro. You know, you just got to stay calm in that moment and ask yourself, are we consulting or are we talking at somebody? And he's asking questions, of course, and it's engaging, but are we talking at somebody? All right, I want to shift gears to the next one. Now, this call is too long to play the whole thing, but Sarah, anything you wanted me to yank out of Pat, bravo. Thanks for being in the hot seat, dude. That's not easy to take a couple lumps on the head on a Friday afternoon. First beers on, first beers on me, eh? Right? Even I feel bad for all you Canadians because I was in the barn for Game 7 when we had to send Toronto back home. So first beers on me. All right. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Danny.
You got it, brother. Good work. Good work. And thanks for being a willing participant too. Circling back, Hannah, Sarah. Before I go off that, Hannah, anything there for you that you want to pick up on that just happened, especially with Tarek's nice summary there of what we all believe?
I completely agree with, we need to be having, consulting with them. We are here to advise them and to help them. It's not about what we're getting out of it, but rather what our vendors would be getting and how we can benefit and help them. These are big transactions, right? You know, your home is very important to you, so we have to always be thinking like that. Yeah,
that's right. And I like what you just said there, because what I would try to do is every time, it's almost like, when you see pro athletes, for example, I always go to athletics for some reason because I watch their habits probably the most. It's interesting to see pro athletes just go back to reset themselves in the basics. If you've ever seen, again, I was just at a pro hockey game, just to watch them warm up. I enjoy that because I watch them go through these very basic steps that some kid who's skating for the first time on an organized hockey rink is going to do the same things. So I think sometimes we don't get caught up in being comfortable as if you already have it all lock, stock, and barrel, locked down. Reset yourself with something very basic, even if it's just a thought. Even if it's something up on a little yellow sticky next to the phone that every time you go to make a call, I am a concierge. This is the concierge desk. This is about them. Put those little stickies there. It's sort of like just that, just that warm up, nice, easy shot. So the mind is right before you go in. And by the way, if you ever hear me be aggressive like I was with Pat, it's because that was a paradigm popping up and getting in the way of a talented guy. So I will attack your paradigm for you just to make it obvious. And the way that you can do that yourself, when I'm gone until next Friday, put these little yellow stickies for these thoughts up there that reset you yourself, so that you don't lose yourself to your own emotions. Laura will tell you, there's plenty of days I come in the office sucking my thumb, and, I'm cranky, didn't get a good sleep, kid drove me crazy, whatever, myriad excuses, and I reset myself before I go, right? All right, so let's go on to the next one here. Let's listen to this one. People in Canada don't pick up the phone fast enough for me. I'd be freaking out.
Hello?
Hi, may I please speak to Ruth? Hi, Ruth. This is Dave calling from Metro City Property Group at Remax. How are you doing today?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. So the reason that I'm calling is because you're on my webpage, homesforsaleottawaarea.com, looking at a few properties. I'm just wondering, are you getting all the information you need?
I think so. Yes. Yeah, yesterday I was just looking at what was available. And,
I saw you were looking at properties in Dunrobin and Stonewalk Estates. Is that the only areas that you're looking for in? Or
actually, it just so happens that, I saw the houses and I was interested in seeing what they look like and what how big they work, but really the problem is a little small. I would rather stay in the Canada area.
Okay, you did want to stay in the Canada area?
Yes, I did.
Far?
No,
okay.
Canada, yeah. The problem is too far from me right now.
Okay. Now,
and also I'm looking at, so I'm looking at houses, a lot smaller in the 3,000 square feet range.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
I am looking at the square footage also is too big. I'm looking at 3,000 approximately.
Okay.
Nothing more than that.
And if you're looking in Canada, is Stittsville on your radar as well, or is that too far out?
No, I'd rather stay in Canada.
All right, let's pause here for a second. Laura, thoughts so far?
I was having a really hard time understanding what she was saying.
Yeah.
I'd probably, my initial reaction would be, I think the beginning was great. The intro was perfect.
Yeah.
But then, after she started talking, I would have probably asked, are you looking to make this move in the next, 3 to 6 months?
Right.
Or go into more timing versus areas that she's looking in.
Yeah. You have a great tone, by the way. Dave, are you on with us? Are you live with us?
Yes, sir. That's me.
Yeah, dude, you have a great tone. A great pace. That's your natural. Like, you and Pat have totally different styles, and they both work. Yours is almost like a lullaby. It's very relaxing. So
I can't help it.
Yeah. No, I like it. No, don't change. I say this to all of you. Don't ever change who you are, or you're dead in these moments. Just play to that. It is what it is. But here's what's going to be interesting. I've got two guys with very different personal styles, but yet the similar strategic mistake. And it manifests itself differently. Pat is much more high D in his approach to cutting to the chase and starting to ask myriad questions to get the detailed stuff. And you're going too far into the other side of it. It's too soft. You're getting too soft. So this is that Goldilocks, bell curve. You're too soft here, meaning you're getting into the, when I say soft, you're getting more into her story, but you're so deep so early that I'm also similarly lost as to why is she doing this? Like why and when? it's good. And over the years, I was probably a combination of the two of you guys, depending on my mood. Some days I came to work and I'd love to talk to somebody like that. And I get high on my own supply, like Tony Montana was warned not to do, hearing the conversation going the way we wanted to, and then forgetting why I was there. It's very natural. Because you feel humanly connected and you're getting there with her. She's in a volley with you. And it feels like exactly what I just expressed. Here we are volleying back and forth, nice and easy. There's a flow. But now there's a time to cut to the chase, and I'm just not hearing it yet. So I'm going to play it a little bit further and look for another tidbit here. So let's listen.
Okay. And I'll try to actually being close to town than being, because right now I am in rural Canada.
Okay, so you're in rural Canada and you want to move maybe a little bit further east, so you're closer to the city, but still in Canada?
Correct.
Okay. Now, are you looking to purchase a property in the next 3 to 6 months, would you say?
I am looking at, we're looking at their site.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore looking at something smaller.
Something where, sorry?
Something smaller.
Something smaller? So you want to downsize?
Yeah, I want to downsize.
Okay. Now, are you currently renting or do you own a property?
Yes, I do.
You own a property? Okay, so that's in rural Canada. So were you planning on selling that property first, or were you looking at buying a property first?
Well, I guess we just want to have an idea as to what's available, because, yes, we want to sell our property and purchase another.
Okay, so you're just sort of looking at the market for what's out there, and then sort of thinking about
all right, there's a moment right there where I think you can lean in a little bit more. I like that you're trying to go deeper and qualify it a little bit better. But I think when somebody gives you that chunk right there, again, my only critique is not a critique on stylistically speaking, because it sounds like you come to the outcome that you want here. But there again is the second time where I hear I don't think you need to go deep right there, Dave. I think you got the point. She wants to buy something, and again, I think you cut right to the chase there. You bring in a little bit of Pat style right there and say, so did you want to buy first, and did you want to buy in the next, couple of months, or what are you thinking? And do you need help with some education on what's happening with the other side of the transaction, the listing first? I think you have your moment, in other words. I'm not going to give you exactly what I would have done, because again, it's that feeling in the moment. There's no right or wrong answer here. I think you just lean in. You need an editor in your life. So you need to create a split personality where you edit out some of this stuff, right? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I think I do have a slower pace as far as I think average, but this particular call I feel is a little bit slower just because I was having such a hard time hearing and understanding what she was saying. Sure. So I was repeating back to her every time what I thought she said. Yeah. Just so I could go from there,
Yeah, and again, that's why
certainly slowed me down, but I am naturally like that as well.
Yeah, well,
this particular instance is just a little, egregious as far as that goes.
Sure, and definitely understood, and that's why this is a delicate one with both of you guys today. This is very delicate because I hear mostly good stuff. So I'm really trying to just refine something to try to further solve the problem of people no showing. So cut to the chase with me. Tell me what happens here in the end, and then she doesn't show. Is that right?
Yeah, so we were in a situation. I asked her about if she was speaking to other real estate agents, and she said that she had been in contact with other agents. And I said, would you mind just out of my own personal curiosity who those agents are? And she said, no, I'd rather keep that to myself. And I said, okay, no problem. Set up the appointment. Everything seems good. Had an email, and an email confirmation with all that information. She responded to the email and said, we can't meet on, it was a Monday, I think, unfortunately. And I responded to the email saying, no problem. Here's an area sales report. let me know, when we can reschedule, and we'll stop by.
Let me ask.
I tried to call her a bunch of times and just completely ghosted on me.
Yeah.
So my inkling is that another agent got in there first, and she's doing business with them. That's my estimation, but I don't have perfect information because we have not spoken since.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go back to why this woman would have ghosted you. And see, this is the point about not spending 17 minutes on the phone. There's a hazard in it, right? So there needs to be a spot there where really, and plus, sometimes if they feel like they've exhausted their conversation with you, and you're like, yeah, I've had enough of them. I don't need to see them again. It's almost like this is the teaser. And going back to what Tarek said, and Sarah, and Hannah, all of them, I think, referenced it, is there's great benefit to us coming. By the way, which appointment did you book for? Buy side or sell side? And why?
Listing, because I figure more convenient to meet in the home, go over those sorts of things, and, we could do both simultaneously, but, just having someone in the home, that was the way I went about it.
Yeah, good. I would have. I certainly would. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think I have like a concrete reason why. That's just where I sort of leaned. So.
Yeah.
Well, not like we want to sell. We want to sell, but before we make the decision, I really want to get a feel for what, because I know exactly what I want. I'd like it to be about 3,000 square feet, and I like tall windows.
Yeah. So she's just kind of going off, blah, blah, blah. And
green beans.
What's that?
Look at those green beans.
Green beans. I don't know who that is, but we don't need green beans on the sales call yet. I'm hungry. You're making me hungry. So anyway, the deal here is that I do like the fact that your pace and your tone and everything, but I think we have the same problem. And I want to open this up to 10 minutes of Q&A and anything else that we have on the agenda, but definitely to come to Sarah now, Tarek, and Hannah. What are you thinking as you go through this? Because the themes are common. So what are you thinking?
Hi. So the number one thing I think is the timing and motivation, establishing that earlier on in the conversation, so we can really ring in to see whether this is a quality prospect or not to be even talking to.
Yeah.
Secondly, I think definitely we need to be really honing down on our skills with regards to having that, once again, being that consultant, having an advisory conversation with them rather than just, let me just book an appointment here so that we can, get our agents in or something like that.
Yep, good.
Those are the two major things that I think we need to improve on.
Sarah?
The styles, their individual styles, I think work though with their conversation.
Oh, for sure, definitely. I think it's the same tweaking to the strategy, but their styles, I wouldn't touch them. I like both guys' tones, both guys' paces. It's just that one guy, goes very quickly, the other guy goes more slowly and methodically. Those are great contrasting styles for the group and the company in general. I just found strategically that there's definitely easy tightenings up. So go ahead. Who else do we need to hear from on that? Sarah? Tarek? Steve? Anybody from the team? Sarah, we lose you? Oh, wait a minute, Sarah. Maybe I have you muted? Sarah? Check. Okay. For some reason, Sarah, we can't hear you. Tara.
Sure, sorry. Can you hear me now?
I can. Yep.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I would say, I think also I feel like it's easier to talk about what they're looking for and their house than digging deeper.
Agreed.
Like that's something that I think, because both of them are doing it.
Agreed. Excellent. Really good pickup. That's an excellent pickup for everybody. I want to reiterate that it's that important. We cheat towards easy.
I think, okay.
Yeah. I was just going to say we all cheat towards easy. And that's exactly the problem in our industry, is that it's a hard business. This is a very, very difficult business. It's very hard to get people into a conversation about this. It's the single largest financial transaction most people make, and at least it's a large one for even wealthy people. They don't trust you. They don't know you, at that level. You can never assume that that's going to be easy, ever. Right? And maybe there's a little yellow sticky that goes next to the phone or is in your car when you're walking into a house. This is not going to be easy to convince these people to trust me. Maybe that's a reset there, because she's right. You cheat, and you cheat towards easy subconsciously. I'm not even saying it's conscious. I'm not calling anybody lazy. I'm just saying subconsciously we are. Ask Dr. Freud, some smarter people that came before me that said the same thing. We run towards pleasure and away from pain. And difficult is painful, and it's work. The best quote for me is the Edison quote, because it comes dressed in overalls and looks like work, right? That's the deal. And the beginning of the quote is, oh, can you hear me? Check. I'm here. It's the interwebs. You there? Tell me when you can hear me again.
Yeah.
We can hear you now.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, it's the interwebs. So the deal is, when you go in to a situation, especially when you're tired, especially when you're having a rough patch, right? Things aren't going your way. It's very easy to presume that the work that we just heard today was good, because there is so much good stuff in it. But that's not good, because ultimately one guy got ghosted completely, and the other guy has to go back and reinvent his own wheel. So it actually, and I'm not saying this will work perfectly, but I would definitely cheat towards harder and going in and really digging in. Because here's the other reason why. You let this lady, Dave, stay on a surfacey level with you. You let her. And the minute she said, I'd rather not say, why? You know what I mean? Like, why not? And by the way, why did you have to ask that question?
I think that's getting a little too pushy.
Me too. That's why I'm asking him. Why'd you have to ask that question? Why does that matter to you?
I don't know why it matters to it.
Exactly. Lee, come on. Tell me more. You're listening. Tell me more.
I just thought that question was a little... I didn't understand why he would push there, because that might put her defense up and close down instead of opening up.
Yeah, because I think if the theme here is, if these two guys really hyper-focus on what's missing strategically, which is the benefit of having us, then a second opinion doesn't matter. Like, if they volunteer it. I think it's fair when you're qualifying the question, are you interviewing other agents? Yes. Oh, great. How many? Have they already been in? Because we'd love what we have to bring you, the benefits of this 7-step plan that we're going to bring you. We'd love it to be compared to everybody's plan. We're so enthusiastic about it. Now, all of a sudden, you have somebody leaning in saying, really? Don't you all do the same thing? Maybe to a certain extent, we have to go through the same steps, but definitely not the same way. And now you have them, opening up to having you into a real process where you can add real value. And that's most definitely what is missing here. Unequivocally. That makes sense?
Yes,
cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, cool. Because that's good advice from Lee, too. It's too pushy. And that comes from guys that aren't Canadian. We're both edgy guys. I think Lee and I are in anger management together, right, Lee boy? Right?
Yeah.
Not all the time. Lee lives a happier life than I do. Laura and I are in anger management because we're in the Northeast. Yeah.
Well, the other thing I was going to add to that is that she might be lying, so you just called her in a lie, so that's going to piss her off.
There you go.
Or put her on the defense.
Yeah. I think he gets in there a lot easier if he's selling the benefits of why they're meeting and what the benefit, what she will get. Boys, since I have you in the hot seat today, when you get up underneath people, once you know why they're making this move, and I don't like to use these little quips, get their timing and motivation. It like dismisses the humanity in this. Figure out why they're even going through this crazy process to begin with. Why in the world would you subject yourself to moving? It's a harrowing process. Well, I have to. Really? How come? I'm downsizing. Why? My husband has developed dementia and we can't handle this and I'm overwhelmed. Wonderful. We can help. Let me get you the right kind of help that you need. When we come over, We will empower you with the education as to how the process works. That's all. No heavy lifting, no rush. Let us empower you with the education on the process. And then while we're there, we can guide you on what to do and what not to do to bring the stress level down. I can't eliminate the stress, but I can bring the level down so you can think more clearly. And then if you feel like we're the right people, you can lay off all the burden on us. But I recognize that we need to get in and educate you first and bring all the stress down. By the way, while I have you, what is the single thing that's stressing you the most? I don't know how the heck I'm going to get a moving company to move this in the same day. Oh, don't worry. We do that every week with somebody. We worry about all that for you. We coordinate that, and we are proficient and expert at that. You will be able to lay that off on us. Do you see the language change? Once the paradigm changes, the language changes along with it, right? That's the key. Let me repeat that. Hang on. The Egan's are in Kentucky. They're gnawing at the tree because they want to talk, right? Egan's, I had to put a mute on you. You animals, right? So here's the deal. When you change the paradigm, the language and the tone follow. So you have to have something that gives you a foothold on a better concierge level paradigm, and you'll be much better off. Make sense?
Yes, that's so... God, that so hits home for me.
Yeah.
Because, like, as we've discussed before, my challenge right now is expired calls. So my sticky notes I read beforehand, and it just sets me in that right mindset.
Yeah.
So, and constantly, like, thinking, okay, I need to make this about them. How can I help them?
Yeah.
Like, and that in itself calms me to make the phone calls easier.
Yeah.
Just by that mindset change.
You got it. Awesome. All right, final thoughts from my team in Ottawa. I'll give you the final mic here because we had you all in the hot seat. Final thoughts here. Any of you?
I feel like we're still a work in progress. We're not perfect. I feel like this was really valuable. Just saying thanks, I suppose. And just everyone who's listening, let's go out there and get her done.
Yeah, right. Just get better. Be open to it.
Thanks, boys.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, let's leave it on that because I like that. That's a positive tone. Good job, my team in Ottawa extraordinaire. This is about that humility to get better. That's the number one paradigm shift. Always be humble enough to know that we all, yours truly well included, we don't know what we don't know, so let's go in pursuit of that forever while we're out there helping people because it can only help us help more people better. All right? Good work, everybody, today. Have a fabulous, productive weekend. Go out and help as many people as you can. You bet.
Have a good weekend.
Good work. Ciao. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
You haven't...
Great call for that.
Hang on. Everybody online, thank you for being here. Appreciate you all. Take care. Have a good weekend.